opportunities slip you by, especially if you're most comfortable on this map. Flame path is not necessarily super even, but it is on the more fair sides. Obviously, we are going to be going over Yasnaya, so we will get that hot drop again. You can see the two logos, E36 and FTF, very much hopping out at the exact same time, or both heading to Yasnaya. eArena going towards military. We didn't get any military zones in the playoffs, which disappointed me because I felt like we
could get knocked, and knocked at that kind of position could be deadly for FTF.
𝐏𝐿 is seriously just acting as a bait here. FTF have to be on guard for E36 pushes. That roof position is so good for Happy. 𝐏𝐿 just has to survive. If he can stay alive in the bathroom here, then that's all he really needs to do. He can't take fights. If he takes fight and goes down, speaking of going down, Pure Boy's gone. Trying to make a push, save his boy. Get a peek through the window. Happy just a lot sharper. When you only have the head to aim at, then it can be quite easy to hit. He's actually smoking up. He's completely disregarding 𝐏𝐿 in the building and pushing so close to get that flush, all alone, mind you, as well. 𝐏𝐿, could he save the day? On top of the thing in the room, I don't know what to call it. I think he had the angle, but he missed the shot. So maybe they hit the windowsill. Happy now under a lot more pressure than, say, 𝐏𝐿 was 30 seconds ago.
Yeah, very bloodthirsty from Happy, and I think he's just fallen off. He did at least lay out a smoke as a preventative measure that he can kind of fall back if he needs to, but you can clearly see he wanted to go for that flush onto Pure Boy. And credit to E36 though, they kind of denied the ability to even do that. 𝐏𝐿 just holding his... They haven't quite cleared out his position just yet, but by clearing everything else out, they know exactly where he is. He is able to vault out though. Makes his way on the backside of this building too, where FTF don't really have good position. E36 do. Monty, by the way, dead. The Valee tie. So one down for for Bliss. That's going to be the first death of this game. And FTF are continuing to just try and push E36. Danoa, though, Magnetic getting involved on the hill to the west near the Yasnaya pond, and he gets the confirmed kill. Oh. And 𝐏𝐿 and Pure Boy both at the exact same moment lose their life, but Enter forced them.
Also just giving up the fight. That's giving the advantage away to FTF. The advantage you had there was you had this kind of bait. Team Bliss, one by one, they seem to crumble. Same as last game. Daytrade this time are the one to put the hurt onto them. Insight stuck all alone. That headshot actually landed. No chance Insight gets away with this. He actually gets one onto Flash. Maybe he'd get a second here onto Pooches. No way. Yeah, not a chance. A little bit of ping delay there.
Maybe from 𝐿𝐿. 𝐿𝐿 can very much get that knock. I mean, it's a long distance, but with the 8 times, it suddenly looks a bit zoomed, but they lost a couple of players and they're not healthy enough to get to the end game. We don't see them go out with nothing like this back-to-back ever. So this is a startling start for Team Bliss as 𝐿𝐿 and the Reluctant squad getting pushed by the Expendables. That's going to be an easy kill for 777 and Duck Juice. They'll get the opening kill onto 𝐿𝐿. And I think the rest of RS are going to get out of here. Going to go down to a mortar strike with 𝐿𝐿. And it's actually Dynasty that finds an angle here. But as soon as Jun relocates to this side, there's eArena, as I mentioned, behind him. So he was never really going to be able to live in that position. It's just a matter of who gets the kill. Well, Dynasty got the initial tag and forced him to the other side of the rock. And eArena say, thank you very much for the free kill. Came to our side. We'll take that one. Armory gave me, though, probably the better position. So they're ones that might be school apps anymore with this circle, unless it hard shifts as we get a couple of parachutes in 𝐸𝐿. Unicorn Cyber already in a really good position to get most of this onto Daytrade of all teams, going for the parachute in. And by the way, this is not going to be the end of this exchange. There is a bunch of teams now making their way in on that minimap. You can see towards Potato Hill now. So it needs to be a swift heal up for Unicorn Cyber. You've got Cerberus on one side, FTF on the other, the Expendables as well. And then now Armory Gaming as well to the east. And a lot of this is simply based on this phase 4 circle. Again, you can't really play center point, but these yellows are quite vulnerable to things like blue zone nades, frag grenades, Molotovs. And if there's a whole lot of teams, there's a whole lot of utility that can be thrown in that direction.
They're vulnerable, certainly, but it's also one of those spots where Unicorn Cyber can just go prone. Let all the teams fight around them. TE is going to try to get involved now. Obviously, Dynasty's up here for Armory. If he gets a knock or two, maybe he can pull some teammates over and they can really start to get involved in this. Cerberus, obviously, they want to do their best to damage Unicorn Cyber, but I think that opportunity's passed them by. Now that they're hunkered down in that yellow, there's not really an opportunity for them to get into nade range anymore. So 𝐸𝐿's the odd one out for Unicorn Cyber here. Completely caught out in the open, probably by choice. Doesn't want to just sit inside a building with the rest of his teammates. That's a recipe for disaster. Obviously, that's one nade and you're all dead pretty much. So 𝐸𝐿 doing what he needs to do to create enough presence where that doesn't happen. Maybe be able to survive if his teammates do fall in that yellow. But also FTF, they want to try and get involved too. They're quite close to the Expendables, who we haven't yet seen. do what the Expendables do best. So yes, Potato Hill is going to be an absolute bloodbath, like you said. So Power, he continues to get shot at too. He's doing what he needs to do. He's kind of in that spot where, as a player, you know you need to be there. You know you need to be outside that yellow, creating presence, doing just something that isn't sitting down and going prone, essentially. But he's really copying it for his efforts.
There's about 5 or 6 teams at the moment now surrounding Potato Hill. 50 seconds until phase 5. There is still every world in which this could hard shift south, north. Give these 2 large points of interest maybe a bit of a helping hand, depending on where you currently stand. That's a risky jump from 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷, but it does get some critical information. 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 close, already wraps off of that position. Went for the frag grenade, then pulled back out the AK, but the AUG is too strong from 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷. That was a very swift down onto 𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷, holding a very aggressive position. When you take into consideration the other members of Armory Gaming and where they are occupied right now, if you are not all going to commit to a push up P hill, don't do it then. You've now just put yourself on an island, and eventually, as soon as you get spotted, you are dead to rights. And you see that immediately. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷 was not messing around, and an opportunity could be gone for AG to maybe get some kind of occupation of Potato Hill. Now they're absolutely in a world of hurt. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷 trying to push up. He's gone down. Now you've got to take on Magnetic, and you've also got eArena shooting down at you. This could be the game now for Armory Gaming. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 with a good knock on to 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷. They are very much into defensive mode.
The only saving grace for Armory is they've got hard cover. Magnetic don't. They've got to push in the open, but the smokes are good. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 will duck and cover inside one of those smokes, heal up, avoid getting naded inside that building, but Magnetic get the res, so man advantage firmly in Magnetic's favor. And yeah, 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷, he can run around the front of that building, but you know eArena's going to do their best to shoot down there as well. This gets one, but not anymore. It's quick trades from Magnetic. Maybe should have been quicker, to be honest with you, down that hallway, but it gets done no matter what. eArena now bloodthirsty, looking down at this yellow. They're running down here, actually. I didn't expect that. Maybe that's the pressure from Cerberus, meaning they kind of have to run down there. Taking the fight with Cerberus is not super ideal for eArena, so they've got to push down there where they know a team's just been fighting. They actually do get the opening knock, so maybe this is eArena with a chance to kind of steal a position away from Magnetic.
Yeah, and the position they would be looking to take, that yellow, it's not in anymore. Phase 5 circle shift. Just a little bit to the north, not enough to really keep apps in. There is still one building with half that will be remaining inside, but as we can clearly see, Potato Hill not really going to be a big position either. This is going to be that open field ending, phase 6, for example, where a lot of teams are going to find it very difficult to get good position and hold said position. Tree play is going to be crucial. Smoke play is going to be crucial, and getting as many kills as you possibly can in this kind of match will be crucial. As PB finds one onto Thanawa, I mean, that is a very long range knock. That's from apps basically open to those yellows that Magnetic are playing out of. That is a long range kill. Bound for Panic and PUBG. 5 at least for Magnetic, so they're getting something from this game. Top 5 at the moment when it comes to the standings, but with 1 minute and 11 seconds until phase 6, there's not a lot of time. The blue will be at their back. They need to get moving. Smokes need to be thrown out, and you've only got so many of them. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 spotted the tree. Good angle found by Thunders, and no response either. The UAS brought down. Car vehicle so important for as much cover as you can possibly get. But so far, there's just no shots here onto Magnetic. They're getting a pretty comfortable push out of the yellows. The smokes obviously aiding them as much as possible. Lucky eventually goes down to 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 and Cerberus with a bit more of a high ground position can very much clean up.
eArena caught in rotation, essentially. They had no time to take the fights because they weren't in positions to take those fights. And so when they try to put themselves in spots to take those fights, well, it's already too late. You've already got all of the teams in the lobby looking at you, essentially. TE go down, a whimper from them. FTF fall after that to a beautiful nade. Combination of Team Expendables as well, or the Expendables 2. 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 down here now. Just one up for eArena. What can he do? Doesn't look like much. He actually gets... Oh no, it is 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 to get it. Thought it was a mini from off in the background, but 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷𝐷 does secure it. 3 kills for him now. Cerberus starting to show up, and they've done exactly what they needed to do by clearing their side. Valee not really an issue for Cerberus either. Unicorn Cyber though, look how much freedom they now have. They can leave that yellow that they were so limited in before. Everyone around them was basically controlling them, telling them that they can't leave, but now that the Expendables have gone down, now that FTF have gone down, they have so much more freedom.
40 more seconds until we hit phase 7. The phase 6 circle already is very volatile. No real space. Trees are your friends. You really want to try and get as many of them as possible. RXC Esports out to the very far west. No team's really occupying their position by themselves at the moment. And with that, can get as many trees as they possibly can acquire. And just a little bit of a spot here from Unicorn Cyber towards Cerberus. Destroy probably doesn't have the best of angles and really can't stand here and fight forever. As great as you want this high ground, you are going to have to vacate it sooner rather than later, due to the fact that that blue is obviously going to start moving very, very soon. 3 more seconds. And it is time to get moving now, down from that hill. Never a fun feeling when you're probably leaving from one of the top positions. PV down. To be fair, coming out of the apps is always going to be very difficult. In the same vein as coming out of Potato Hill is going to be difficult.
I don't know. They had so. I feel like they had so much space. They and the team in the sheds had basically the entire northern side. I don't know how Panic have ended up in the shack here. Like, I don't know how that's the position they end up with when they could have easily driven up towards Valee Thai, taken the fight with them and actually played for the win rather than just submitting yourself to a shack. They leave Pibby as the sole man pushed up towards any of their competing teams in the close vicinity, and 3 of them just move towards a shack, a position you know is just going to lose you the game. You know, as soon as you put yourself in that shack, there's no escaping it. That's one of those shacks where if you've got teams like Valee Thai and Roy right next to you on the hills, you can't leave it. It's just, you're just losing the game as soon as you take that. So I feel like Panic, there's got to be a better play they could have made.
60 more seconds until phase 7. Smokes pluming everywhere. 4 kills down for UNC. Good response from the opening match in which they were unable to really acquire anything. And slowly starting to acquire some very valuable and vital points. As Xiec goes down to the blue. Roy, love the little dip that they've got here, playing off of that very small defilade. So Lozzy to go down to 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷. Good positioning for Unicorn Cyber. Spray from Tycon with the 2x on the AUG from such a distance away was always going to be a difficult shot to land. Unable to do so and does go down. UNQ also will bleed out. Unicorn Cyber actually all pushing as a team. I like the flat space that they've still got acquired. There is a player behind them. We'll see if that's going to be a factor for X-Men, a solo that could really maybe burn one of these players. But no, Leo got spotted by Manhung. X-Men get dealt with. Unicorn Cyber with now 7 kills, good position, clearing out a lot of these players and teams. But still another step that they need to take, which is still making their way down this hill, then into another team, such as Roy Esports, for example. Phase 7 has, of course, now taken Cerberus back out of the zone. Sorry, I meant Unicorn Cyber back out of the zone, along with RXC and Roy Esports, I think, have got themselves prior position here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. RXC, the push that they have to make towards Roy is incredibly difficult. Taking into account the Unicorn Cyber are going to look to third party that as soon as that starts to happen as well. And the team that Roy was competing with on the eastern side in both Panic and Valee Thai, well, Panic's dead and Kiss is the last one up for Valee Thai. So Roy have it easy right now. Also, Unicorn Cyber, the way that they were playing the playoffs, the style that they had to close out games and kind of rack up kills, it was a playstyle you could always see working out in a grand finals lobby like this, and that's exactly what's happening. Look at them moving as a 4-man unit. Meters that separate them all in a complete... I love this. I love this so much. This is Unicorn Cyber playing like there is something on the line, because absolutely there is. They are clearing the side they want to make the play on. Maybe it's going to be them completely caught out. If RXC looks up this hill, it's 4 little lemmings running in the open, but they've made it into at least a safe LOS for the moment. They are pushing directly down. They're trying to flank RXC.
And they're going to spot them as well from this high ground. What a spray from 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷. And when you make those initial shots, you need to be. But if he does look to continue to push down, you can clearly see the response from RXC could be swift, considering how out in the open UNC actually are. But they're able to hit their shots. Vinsu, Mo, both went down. Dalziel actually the only one now left for RXC. How quick that they've lost all of those members, but 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷, Sapao, gone. Manhung and Destroy as a duo. It hasn't been a clean fight for Unicorn Cyber, but they would never have anticipated that it would be. Always difficult it would be. Simon, though, and now a third party from Roy Esports, as they look comfortable to maybe take this game. Then Nye with a Mark 12 finds a good angle, and there goes Unicorn Cyber at the hands of Roy, and should be able to find the win from here, considering there's only 2 solos remaining. They know exactly where one of them is located, right in front. And somehow, Valee Thai Esports are going to actually find a second place. Kiss looked dead to rights 5 minutes ago, but has been able to hold on and get himself to a tree now in a 1 versus 4. Lands an initial tag onto 𝐿𝐷𝐷𝐷. But from here, it would have to be one of the greater clutches that we've ever seen if you could win from this kind of position, behind the tree, in a 1-on-4. 5 kills for Valee Thai. I think they should be more than happy with the second place finish, and they will be. But it is Roy Esports that get the 10-kill win. They had best position. They got them.